so guess where I'm at? It's another Tuesday. It's the third day of the Tennessee Mastergardener program. I just got here. I'm in the parking lot. I'm about 15 minutes early, so I'm just kind of waste time. So I just wanted you to, told you I was going to bring you along for the experience. And yeah, there's not a lot of people in the cars or in the parking lot, so I don't know if people are going to be attending on Zoom this week, or if people are dropping out of the class, if they, this is the third week, so I think by now you should know if you're interested and fully into it or not, and some people just might not meet their expectations, but I am really enjoying it, and I hope you are too. So let's go in. There's another car, another friend. Oh, and I wanted to tell y'all, if you've been keeping up with my my videos, this was this week's homework. We had to get soil, fill it up with water and borax, shake it, and then it's supposed to create these layers, which it did. So that was my homework this week.
I know.
Well, you know what BSMS PhD is.
There's still time.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah. Well, I'm good on the BS.
Steven just got his master's in May of this year. He had 4.0. He had 4.0 undergraduate. He beat me, but he didn't beat his mother.
Hey, I don't know if you can see me, but I just got home, so let's head inside, and I have a lot of information to tell you. All right, so let's get right into it. I have my coffee. So, let's make this a fast one. The last one, the basic botany, plant physiology, that was a lot of material. Hope you learned something. So, this week is all about soil, not dirt. So, Soils 101, why it matters, and this was presented by Dr. Hebron Smith, and he is a very intelligent man. This just shows how to, you can go to your, maybe a university around your town, or Google how to get a soil test. They have these sheets, and there's names, address, cities, but this is the UT Extension, obviously, Institute of Agriculture, and it just gives you a lot of information, like what's in like organic matter, soluble salts, what kind of texture your soil is, what kind of soil it is. Like we have Dixon soil. This is just field soil submission, and then they give you like codes on lawn and garden submission sheets right here, along here, and this is like the box. You fold it and you put the soil in there, and then they run it through their machine and test it, and really cool stuff. So it'll tell you kind of like the pH, if it's acidic or basic. Yeah, this just shows you the soil lab, sampling instructions. Okay, so let's get into soil, much more than dirt. Why is soil important? Soil is the growing medium for our food. So like tomatoes, lettuce, think of your favorite foods, corn, mashed potatoes, all that. Even, like macaroni, starches, some things that you wouldn't even think about. Probably anything, fruits, strawberries, kind of like watermelon. All that comes from our soil. Without it, we could not survive. Soil purifies our waste. Soil is home to plants and animals. It may take up to 1,000 years to form 1 inch of topsoil. That blew our mind. So when he started the presentation, he made us guess how many years would it take for have an inch of soil, and people were guessing 10, 50, 100. We weren't even close. It was 1,000. So just think 3 inches of soil. That's 3,000 years worth of soil. That just blew my mind. We are losing so much soil to erosion each year that the last soil, if loaded into dump trucks parked back to back, would extend to the moon and back. An earthworm can work a ton of soil a year, which I'm very fortunate. They say if you find earthworms in your soil, that means you have good soil, and I have plenty back there, which is great. So why do we need to know about soils? Why would you want to do a soil test? Well, it's what plants grow in. Troubleshoot plant problems by looking at soil. We're going to get into plant diseases like chlorosis and stuff like that. Diseases, abiotic factors. Will water be easily given up to the plant? You know, if it's hard clay and it's kind of like concrete, it's probably not, the roots are going to have struggle trying to grow out. Are there any soil organisms at work? Worms and stuff like that. And does water soak in, run off, stand on the soil? So another test you could do, if you think you have a problem with drainage, maybe dig a 6-inch hole, maybe 6-inch wide, and pour water into it. And then wait a few hours. If the water's still there, if it's puddled, you probably have a drainage problem. If it's gone or there's a little bit left, then you're probably good. You have a good proper drainage. Ideally, the soil is composed of 25% air, which is good. You need, pockets of air. 25% water, 45 to 48% minerals, 2 to 5% of organic matter, and other soil organisms. Mineral and organic minerals that contain living matter and can support vegetation. Bacteria. A thin soil can contain 2 billion bacteria, 30 million fungi fragments, and 100,000 single-cell plant and animals. Animals making burrows in the soil help being air and water into the soil. So, like your moles, your groundhogs, your chipmunks, even though they can be very damaging to a garden, they're actually beneficial. Physiographic regions and soil types. I'm not going to get into it just because you might live in a different zone than Tennessee, but it just describes the land surface. It's closely related to geology and slope and soil related. That's a picture of Tennessee. Like I said, we won't get into that. And then that's the major land resource areas in Tennessee. I believe we're in the Highland Rim for all my Tennesseans out there. Soil types are classified by depth of layer, color, texture, and structure. And this is a graph showing, so it starts with horizons, O, E, B, C, and R. O is organic nutrients, A is the topsoil, B is subsoil, C is weathered or decomposed rock, and then R is solid rock. So as far as you go down, kind of like when you learn in science, I think it's like the mantle, the core, all that of the earth. But that shows you like the depth, and then obviously colors. What colors are soils? I get jealous people like the West Coast. If you watch Laura from Garden Answer, she has really dark, rich soil. Wise God, I think he's in Iowa, really dark, rich soil. We have very hard, rocky, red clay. So that's just, there's percent of sand, percent of clay, percent of silt. It's just a little diagram. And then soil texture. It can be sandy. These are the largest particles and they feel gritty. Silt are medium-sized and they feel soft, silky, or floury. Clay are the smallest sized particles and they feel sticky and they are hard to squeeze. Okay. We'll get into coarse textured soils have high sand content. And you can read a little bit if you want to. You can pause the video. Medium texture soils, known as loams, have properties in between those of coarse and fine texture. Loams, they contain a good supply of nutrients, and then fine texture, with a range from silty clay to heavy clay. How to texture? So what you do, grab your soil and then pinch it. If it's sand, then it'll probably just fall apart and you'll feel like the grit. If it's clay, it'll probably stick in your fingers and make a ribbon. It'll be really smooth. Soil structure can be granular, prismatic, columnar, massive, blocky, platy, single-grained. I feel a lot of times we have blocky because of so much rain. I think I have filled dirt in my yard. That's just a diagram of the soil structure again. Build soil structure. Glue soil particles together with organic material and calcium form limestone. That's where you get limestone from. Limestone is sedimentary rock. It's calcium carbonate clay. We have a lot of limestone here. So what about structure? Is it good drainage, plant penetration, and oxygen penetration? Pore spaces. The smaller the particles, the smaller the pore spaces. Water moves slowly, less air present. How do we improve soils? Well, make sure there's proper drainage, water it, give it some moisture. For fertility, amend the soil, give it some good fertilizer. Soil health, and then check out if there's any problems. Pore spaces can decrease due to compaction. And these are, I won't get into it, but if you can pause the video. Hard compact soil weeds, so you'll know if you have hard compact, if you have like bluegrass, knotweed, dandelions, and then again, if you have wet, moist soil. So this is just observation. You can classify by looking at what kind of weeds you have in the garden. That's probably what kind of soil. So there's a lot of different ways where you can see what kind of weeds you have. Dry sandy weeds, obviously you have thistle, yarrow, pigweed, and those are like heavy clay. You have plantains, nettles, and quackgrass. And then poor, like low fertility, you do not want this. Queen Anne's lace, ragweed, crabgrass, clover. I have some clover in my garden. Fertile, well-drained humus soil, foxtail, chicory, and then acidic would be knotweed, moss, and then alkaline would be chickweed, spotted spurge, chicory, those alike. So, horizons have different properties. We kind of went over that a little bit. Some may stop water flow, and then watch out for the builder's horizons. Oh, and I just had to take a picture. I think I had the best soil in the class. I was the perfect example. I got an A, and he's actually a high school student. He took that home with him to show his students in class. So I had to toot my horn a little bit. And then we took a little break. That's just, we're in chapter 5 of the book. And let's move along. So check yourself. So like I said about the drainage thing, I said 6 inches, but dig 12 inches deep, enough for a hole. Fill it with water. Wait 30 minutes. The soil has drainage problem if it hasn't drained out. 24 hours. Waterlogged soils. Soils have moisture characteristics important for runoff, important for plants. So it needs proper drainage and water. Terms and definitions, we won't go too far into this. Essential nutrients, obviously. The NPKs, nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, or potassium. Deficiency, obviously it's not when they don't have that. And then you can check for symptoms, and we'll get into that. More terms, fertilizer. You can get a dry form, liquid form, or a gaseous form. Gaseous forms are very dangerous, so I would stick with Espoma, Biotone, Rosetone, Plant Tone, all those. Fertilizer terms, so like I said, NPK. Analysis, percentage water soluble of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash or potassium, expressed as KTO in the fertilizer. Brand, they have to have a brand on there, like a Spoma, Miracle Grow. Complex fertilizer, which supplies all 3 primary nutrients. Read the bag. And those are the 10 essential elements: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, potash, nitrogen, sulfur, calcium, iron, and magnesium. Functions. Approximately 95% of weight of plants comes from products of photosynthesis. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen are needed in the plant process of photosynthesis and respiration. Primary nutrients, we won't go too far into that, but that tells you kind of what nitrogen does. It gives green color to the plants. Phosphorus is important for germinating seedlings, for flowering. And then potassium, it's good for the roots, I believe. Necessary for production and translocation of carbohydrates. And then these are the secondary nutrient functions: calcium. And that's what shows if you have a calcium deficiency. Magnesium, it's necessary for chlorophyll. That's a magnesium deficiency. And then that's a sulfur deficiency. Iron, if you've heard of chlorosis or chlorotic, it's yellow in the leaves. Copper function helps the use of iron. Zinc functions plant metabolism. Boron affects water absorption by the roots. That's a magnesium deficiency. Molybdenum, blah, blah, blah. Functions plant development. That's the deficiency. They all kind of look wilty or yellow. Chlorine deficiency. 4 phases of soil management. Analyze your soil using soil conditioners, like compost or something. Add in general fertilizer and using specific fertilizer. And then don't guess, soil test. Analyze your soil. It's very important. A soil test can be conducted through your county extension office, like I said. Soil testing, a soil test costs $15 per sample. It may have changed. And it provides information on pH, your minerals and nutrients. You can test up to 4 crops. And they provide like the soil boxes, and forms can be obtained from the secretaries at the extension office. So just check that. When to sample, you can sample any time of the year. However, this time, fall is the best time. Analyze your soil how often? Before planting a new garden or landscape in the area. And then high value crops. How to take a good sample. Probably select the sampling area. The area should not exceed 10 acres. Or if you think you have a problem spot, that'd be a good place. And then don't get it all in one area. If you have like a northeast, southwest garden, get one from each side. And then soil pH refers to the amount of hydrogen ions or acidity found in soils. As acidic levels increase, the pH of the soil decreases. The pH scale ranges from 0 to 14. The most soils in Tennessee range from 4.5 to 7.5. I think we're slightly acidic. I think we're about a 6.5 here. And that brought us to the end of the class. So we kind of ran through this one. There's not too much to talk about, but I want to leave you with something like I always do. I think this week is all about observation, and I would encourage you to do a soil test. It's very interesting knowledge. That way, it just tells you so much. Tells you like if you need drainage, what kind of soil you have, what nutrients your plants may need that your soil is not providing to them. Observe what kind of weeds are growing. So just make a great observation. Look out. Like I said, slow down, smell the roses, and just yeah, and get out there in your garden. Have fun with it. So this is actually Tuesday. I'm a week behind, but so I'm going tonight and this coming today, the fourth. I think this is the fourth week or fifth week. I can't remember. Anyway, we're doing weeds. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this quick video. I will catch you on the next one. Bye, y'all.